Joining us now for the first Cowboys player show of the season in his fourth season with the Cowboys out of University of Wisconsin, where he was all Big Ten. The 2023 Pro Bowler, now signed through the 2029 season for America's team. It's tight end Jake Ferguson here with you on The Fan. And a good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful, thanks, and thanks for joining us this season. We look forward to getting to know you better. Let's start with that. How was your off season? How'd it go? What'd you do?
Off season was great. Proposed in April, and
Congrats.
then just kind of got to work after that, and doing stuff with the guys and doing stuff with Dak. We went out to Georgia and had a little throwing session and then some camaraderie out there, and then just got ready for the season with OTAs. But it was a good off season.
Do you look forward to that trip with Dak every year?
Yeah, every year. I mean, it's unbelievable what we do, and the relationships we make, and how you get to know each other. It's not just on a surface level. We get to know each other's stories. We get to know each other as men, and that plays into our season where it's a long season. Some guys might get down or some things might happen, and be able to communicate that with your brothers who you're going to war with every single day. It's special, and to have that relationship, that's very special.
Now, how's Dak have this organized? Is he like a wedding planner or like a camp counselor running around with planned events and games, or does he let it happen organically? What can you tell us about that?
We've got a little bit of a team now. Now that it's been going on a couple of years, Miss Julie, she is helping Dak. She helps Dak and helps us with all of our flights, and then Airbnb, hotel rooms, whatever we need, and then we go to Lake Oconee High School to go throw. So we're throwing on their high school field, and I think now we've got pretty good foundation of what we do. So it's every year it's just something that I really look forward to.
So are you having to stress out about any of the wedding planning stuff, or are you able to let the fiance just handle that?
Yeah, I'm in it a little bit. I hear updates now and then, but I only have one major request, and that's a ranch fountain, late night for snacks, for like some wings, maybe some pizza, something like that. But that's all I'm really pushing for.
How are you going to really ignite the dance floor? Like, how confident are you in your dancing?
Yeah, I'm if 1 through 10, I'm probably a 10. Confidence wise,
wow.
Dance move wise, I'm probably like a 4 to 5, but I definitely get it going. And then my go-to song is Fergalicious, obviously, because that just gets it going.
That's when the pants go flying off.
Is that how you won her over? Your dancer?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, when we first met, that's what we actually were dancing. So I think that was the selling point there.
I love that. Okay, because I was wondering, like, this day and age, is it dating app stuff? Do you meet organically? Like, how do you pull that off?
I'm old school, man. I'm all about dancing. We're getting it going. I'm not a very big phone guy, but we hung out. It was supposed to be like a weekend, and it turned into like 10 days, so it was good.
How was tight end you? Did you get to experience that again this summer? I know you've been out there before.
Yeah, I did, and this year it was great to go. I actually brought Brevin Spanford this year, brought Schoonmaker last year, and I think Schoon was able to come for the last day. But getting out there and meeting all the other tight ends, getting to talk with them and just pick each other's brains, and then also we did a golf outing this year, so it was really cool to just see everybody, and you really don't get to talk to those guys and. Besides like after games or something like that. And it's very, hey, how's it going? Stay healthy. Have a good one. So it's good to get to know those guys.
It seems like tight ends might have the best personality of any position group, like on the team. Do you think tight ends are probably the best partiers?
Yeah.
They're the go-to ones, stirring it up?
100%. I tell everybody this. You very rarely, I think there's only ever been one, but you very rarely meet a tight end that's not a good guy.
Is everybody else fighting for second when it comes to just crazy animal? And George Kittle's the obvious number one.
Yeah.
Curious,
exactly.
When it comes to your Wisconsin days, how do you power rank your consumption from the brats, the beer, and the cheese? What's your one seed?
From what's my consumption at Wisconsin, or what's my consumption of those now?
Let's go back to the college days when you were getting, you're a little bit freer.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you this. So at the end of my freshman year, my grandmother got me a Johnsonville brat maker with 5 brat slots. So I would go to the store, get a bunch of brats, and you know how they get you where they only sell them in, I don't know what they sell them in, 5s or 6s, and then the buns come in 8s.
Oh, it's
So
annoying.
you got to you got to load it up. So I was pumping probably, I'd definitely put double digits easily in a week.
Hell
For
yes.
sure on brats, easily.
So do you
And then
think-
I'm a huge milk drinker, so
Oh.
I was getting gallons. I still go through a gallon I'm skim now, but I go through a gallon probably a week now.
A gallon is. So do you think you could punish like the 999 challenge, the 9 dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings?
Yeah, easily, very easily.
Jake Ferguson here with you, Cowboys Player Show on 105.3 The Fan. So congrats on the contract. That was pretty cool, right?
Good segue.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, very very cool. Yeah.
How tough was your negotiation? Was it smoother?
Yeah, it was a little smoother. I'm not going to go into super big detail about it, but yeah, the whole contract and everything. It's a blessing, and I'm honored and blessed, like I said, to have the Jones family believe in me, and then I'm like I said, I'm just excited to get going and to just play and to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Hey, Jake, who gave you your play style, the way you play with such violence? Is this mom or dad?
That's definitely my dad, but then you can also mix in my grandpa a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad played middle linebacker at Nebraska
Right.
in the 80s, and then my grandfather also played middle linebacker at Nebraska. So I was always a defensive guy. Like I had, I think, 5 offers in high school, and I committed when I was at the end of my sophomore year, but all of them besides Wisconsin were for defense. So I've always been a defensive guy. I've always been, middle linebacker, outside linebacker guy. And then actually when I was violent in youth, violent in high school, and then when I got to college, they're like, you're on offense. And my college coach, Mickey Turner, who's at Illinois State now, finally taught me that you could be violent with the ball in your hands.
That's what I thought, yeah.
That's where it kind of, I put all of it together.
How bummed would you have been if you hadn't got offered from Wisconsin?
I'd have been pretty bummed, but I probably honestly would have walked on. My brother was 4 years older than me. I would have tried to walk on. I grew up watching Wisconsin football. I was in the locker room for as long as I remember. When Ron Dane was running the ball, I remember him, I remember him coming up to the suite after he'd graduated and talking to him and him playing pranks on people with me. And, I was Wisconsin. I was a Badger my whole life, and, I will be a Badger my whole life.
When we watch college football a bunch around here, and we always the traditions and stuff and the jump around. As a player standing on the field, how crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean, for people who have never been to Camp Randall for jump around.
Yeah,
it's so hard to explain because you feel it. And the only thing I can say is the geography museum. I don't even know the word for it, but the people who study the earth,
yeah,
they have the Richter scale goes off
right
when jump around happens. So it's like a mini earthquake. And we'll be beating a team by like 20, and you'll look across and they're jumping around. It's kind of crazy, but it's unbelievable. And, you see everybody, the whole student section's going, and, you look around and there's, there might be some people who are a little older, they're jumping around.
Right.
And so it's infectious there. And that's one of my favorite traditions in college football.
So how tough is playing in Filthy? And where does this rivalry rank for you since you've been a Cowboy?
Yeah, it's number 1 for me. I'm not a fan at all, really. I just, I think the people are nasty. The things they say, at games. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
There's no question that's the most hostile environment.
Oh, yeah, easily. It's not just the men, it's the women and children, too.
Jake Ferguson here with you on The Fan. Looking at them and looking what they were last year was such a dominant run to end, but they've lost a number of guys here from the defense. Do you expect them to be about as good, or what kind of a fight do you expect from the Eagles for the division this year?
Yeah, for sure. And, it's always, as much as I don't like them, there's a there's a Warriors respect there. You know, I'm not going to go into this game and say, you know, we're going to beat the brakes off them. You know, they're a great team. This is also the NFL. You know, it's 32 teams of the best guys, and they do a great job of, you know, being disciplined and having good game plans and stuff like that. So, you know, we just got to execute. We got to be on our P's and Q's. And, you know, we also just got to not look too far ahead. You know, we're 2 days out now. We got to focus on today, focus on the next day when the time comes, and then when it's game time, just put it all together and execute.
Jake, how different do you feel like this offense is compared to the previous offense?
Yeah, I think, you know, personnel-wise, I think there's just so many weapons. And, you know, there's not just one spot or two spots we can go. You know, there's so many different things we can do. And then from a play caller standpoint, I think it's almost like the same thing, like our motions, our shifts, you know, our formations, all the different pieces we have within our play calling ability there's just weapons in every single thing that's there. And, you know, there's so much we can do. And that's exciting to me because, you know, that makes the defense just think, you know, they just don't know what's coming. And when you got them on their heels, it's pretty fun.
So I put out there some fan questions since we're going to have you on all year, Ferg. I wanted to get the fans involved
Let's
here.
do it.
So one wants to know, this is Aaron, asked, what is your best Dak story? And I guess this has got to be a safe for work one since we don't want to get any FCC violations.
Yeah, I'll tell you the first story I've ever had with Dak. I was a rookie, and it was, you know, I'd just been drafted to the Cowboys. I go to OTAs. And we've got this typical, it's a very easy route. It's just called a stick. It's a little 5-yard out route. And I'm pretty sure he's just getting the snap, looking and throwing. And it's real quick for him. And me being a rookie, I'm just like, all right, this is going to be a nice little stick route. So I go up to 5 breakout, and as I'm turning my head to go look back for the ball hits me in the side of the helmet in the ear. And I'm like, oh my God. And I looked back at him, and he's like, come on, Rook. And I was like, oh, all right, this is the league. And so, you know, I still laugh about that, but, you know, I all the time now when I'm running that stick, I break out and my hands are already shooting up, even if he doesn't even throw it.
That is awesome. Okay, last one here because I know we don't want to keep you too long, but Call Me Nighthawk wants to know if you got any pregame rituals or superstitions.
Oh, I'm very superstitious. So I always start whatever I do on the first week, I keep it. So I guess I got some other superstitions. I always go left sock, left shoe, right shoe. And then I have this thing where I drink a shot of pickle juice, a shot of beet juice, and then I take whatever I need to take, whether it's like Tylenol or whatever. And then I go to my locker and I drink an orange Gatorade. And then I try to think of there was one year, Pro Bowl year, I had these pair of socks that I wore and had a really good game. And so I harped on our equipment guys. I was like, I need these socks every game. And yeah, there were sometimes we didn't have them and we lost. I was freaking out. But no, I'm very, very, very superstitious.
Gonna have to yell at Bucky for you for doing that, man. Bucky's got to take better care of you out there. Him and McCord, what the hell are they doing? Yeah,
they're pretty good now. Buck's got me locked in.
Bucky will get you locked in for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, congrats on your engagement and a great off season. We're excited to chat with you. We're excited to watch you play now that you're healthy and all that. So go give them hell. We'll be pulling for you, and we'll chat next week.
For sure. Appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to it.